Welcome, everyone. It is a bonus episode. Jets Pats Thursday night football recap. That was absolutely incredible. We have Brad Dalius here, Pats fan. He'll give a little bit of a Pats perspective. We're going to mainly focus on the Jets because this is Fanatics and Analytics, New York, Philly. And this is mainly going to be a Jets recap. We'll get a Pats perspective because there are two teams playing in this game. I know a lot of fans like to think it's only their team that they root for that's playing, and any good that happens is only because of that team. Any bad is because of their team messing up. There is another team playing. There was another team playing tonight. It was the Patriots. Not a very good team. The Jets were the much better team, and it was very, very fun for me. I've spent a lot of time in this pod, and this isn't just a shtick for the podcast. I'm a very reserved. I'm a reserved sports fan. I'm analytical. I'm pretty objective. I don't get overly hyped. I don't get overly upset. I kind of just let things play out. But I think this episode's going to be, you're going to see a little bit different. I haven't been this happy about a sporting event in a long time. It's pretty crazy. We're going to get into all that. But first, I gotta show you something.
We knew that was making an appearance sooner versus later.
Come on. Yeah, it has to.
Yeah, look, I mean, me thinking that somehow, some way, this 2024 version of the Pats was going to cover this game tonight and keep it basically a one-score game. I don't know what I was thinking on that one. This was classic vintage Aaron Rodgers tonight from the get-go.
I couldn't believe how well he played. And even the mobility. And yes. I'm not talking about he escaped the pocket. He actually ran for 18 yards, which kind of a lot considering he's 40 years old coming off a torn Achilles.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this a couple episodes ago when we were previewing the season.
The NFL preview, yep.
Yeah, I was like, don't be surprised if he needs to do it. He's going to scramble. He did it tonight.
It was crazy. Amazing.
That's what he does. I mean, he is still a threat to do a lot of things on the field, as we saw tonight. He was sharp. I mean, the biggest thing, though, was spreading the ball around pretty evenly, Andrew. Like Lazard with the first touchdown. Wilson, he grabs his first touchdown pass from Rodgers. You had the Breece Hall touchdown. They really spread the ball around. Conklin from the tight end position. I mean, he had a big night too.
Big game, yeah.
Big game. I was most impressed by that, being able to spread the wealth around this early in the season. It shows a lot about where this offense is at right now.
Yeah. So first off, Jets win 24-3. If for some reason you don't know that, 24-3. Couple quick notes. I do want to get to your point about spreading the ball around, but a couple quick notes that are just crazy. And it's, as a Jets fan, I'm 32 years old. I've grown up pretty much through early years, like high school, pre-high school, some good years, but through the Pats dynasty, through the Patriots just dominating the Jets being bad, the Jets being a laughingstock. And look, check this out. I don't know if you saw this yet, man. 3 offensive touchdowns in the first 3 games to start a season, for the first time since 1989.
I heard that at the end of the broadcast.
What?
That's
they
incredible.
said in the broadcast? I got more. First time the Jets had, not even won by 21. The first time the Jets had a 21-point lead on the Patriots since October of 2000, Belichick's first year. First time they beat the Patriots by 21 or more points that same game. October 15th. 2000, 24 years ago.
That's crazy. I love this stat about how this was the first Jets-Pats game that Belichick has not been a part of in any way, shape, or form since 95.
I'm glad.
Of course.
See ya. But that's crazy because he was an assistant. Yeah.
Right. This is one of those games, like one of those nights, all these crazy stats, the first time in a long time.
First Jets home win over the Pats since 2015. I was at that game. That actually
Were you?
they won it. They won it in overtime.
That was
Fitzpatrick was the
the
quarterback.
Fitzpatrick. I was gonna say, yeah.
That was
How do
when
you like, by the
Belichick.
way? How do you
Yeah,
like, by the way, how that has been like the go-to highlight on every single broadcast
I
when these
don't
two
like
teams
that.
play?
I don't like that. That well, yeah. I think the butt fumble is the highlight, the go-to highlight.
Oh yeah. Thanksgiving. How could we forget? Mark
Yeah, of course.
Sanchez never living
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
down.
That's what everyone
But no,
remembers. The Jets are a joke.
but seriously, they have maybe replayed this highlight more times than I can think of between any two interdivision rivalry of any two teams in the league that I could think of. It's their go-to. They always have it teed up.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
That
but
game,
I think it's soon to be a distant memory.
I would hope so. But that game, that was the game that. Do you recall this? So Belichick deferred. They won the coin toss to start overtime that game.
Yeah,
This is end of the year 2015, like week 15,
right.
16. And for some reason he deferred, and the Jets went down and scored a touchdown and won the game.
Yeah, this was one of those weird decisions that Belichick
He
made
just
within
was.
the last the second half of the Belichick Brady dynasty since the
He
2010s
was,
on.
but he
There
was
was a
doing
few
that all
games.
along. They were just
Uh,
winning.
right, they were just winning. Yeah, I
It
mean,
worked, so he was a
okay,
genius, and then it doesn't work, and he's just, he's old and doesn't know what he's doing. That's pretty much
right.
what it is.
Okay, that's fair enough. Going forward on fourth down within your own 20 against the
Yeah,
Peyton Manning led Colts back in the early 2000s goes up there as well. I guess to your point about him making some
yeah,
decisions that it's either feast or famine ultimately.
yep.
But yes, I do remember this. Bad decision at the time. It bit him in the ass ultimately.
So, yes. Oh, so back to tonight. To your point about spreading the ball around. So here's what we have. So Aaron Rodgers, 27 for 35, 281, 2 touchdowns, 3 carries for 18 yards. He looked great in the pocket. He was escaping trouble. He was throwing on the run. He was hitting everyone, spreading the ball around. Brees Hall, 5 catches. Conklin, 5 catches on 6 targets, 93 yards. Lazard, 3 catches on 3 targets for 48 yards, had that nice touchdown on that screen. Garrett Wilson, 5 catches on 9 targets. I want to get into that later. That's very nitpicky. In order to find something bad, we're going to have to be nitpicky. We'll get into the Garrett Wilson. Make a note of that. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, we'll get into that later.
I'd be
We're going to
disappointed
start
if
with
you didn't
we're
mention
going
it.
to start with a lot of positives. Xavier Gibson, 2 catches, 2 targets. Jeremy Rucker, 2 catches, 2 targets. Braylon Allen, 3 catches, 3 targets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receptions. 7 different players caught the ball for Aaron Rodgers, and they all caught the ball more than one time, at least 2 times.
Yeah, the game plan was fantastic. Give the coaching staff credit as well.
Hockett's
Obviously,
a genius once he has Rodgers.
oh, it's amazing, right? I mean, it's incredible. But give them credit. Obviously, Rogers runs the show here, but they're all working together
Yeah.
with each other to make it happen here on offense. So
I think they did a pretty good job of pointing out that it wasn't just Rodgers.
yeah,
The
true.
offensive line did a really good job. Morgan Moses' injury hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully it's just like a sprained knee or something. I know they were talking about, but anyway, we'll get to that. But I know they did a really good job of pointing out that it wasn't just Rodgers, that it's the weapons, it's the offensive line. It's very true. I mean, this Jets team has shown this over the last couple of years. They have shown the skill. The offensive line was a mess, but the skill positions they have shown how talented they are. They just had a terrible quarterback, a pathetic quarterback, and now not on the season preview episode we did. We talked about how if Rodgers just plays like a league average quarterback, the Jets are a playoff team.
Yeah,
and the ceiling is if Rodgers can be like maybe not prime peak Rodgers, but very close to it, that the Jets ceiling is Super Bowl. The first 2 games, he was more league average quarterback type. Tonight, he was amazing. he was incredible.
You
Everything
saw the
about it.
ceiling potential
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Again, it's early. It's
early,
just beginning week 3. But this is a night to be excited if you're a Jets fan.
What's exciting about it for me is I saw through the first 2 weeks the offense. I saw the flashes. I saw the flashes of Rodgers. I saw the flashes of all the weapons being utilized. And you weren't on the episode, but episode 6 with me and Sistad, in previewing this game, I said the Jets offense is really close to clicking. And I think that it's going to break out on Thursday. And yeah, they only scored 24 points, but we know the offense was a lot better than just 24 points. They had, I can go through the drives. They had their first 7 drives, they were moving the ball in every single drive. They had the first drive, they had a holding and a sack stall the drive. And then from there, second drive, they really took off. First drive, they had a couple good plays. Four plays. The first 4 plays were very productive plays. Then they had a holding penalty and a sack that ruined the drive. Second drive, 8 plays, 75 yards, 5 passes, 3 runs, touchdown to Alan Lazard. First play, Braylon Allen run. Second play, Braylon Allen run. Third play, play good, action rollout.
He's real good.
He's running people over.
Yeah. He looks like a 10-year vet.
Oh, he's 20 years old.
He's 20. He can't even drink legally.
Yeah, he can't drink legally. We weren't drinking when we were 20.
Right. Never happens. Yeah, he looked great, real good tonight.
He complements Brees really well because Brees is an amazing running back, but he's not this ground and pound 3 yards, 4 yards, 3. That's not it. He's a home run back.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going to break the 30, 40, 50-yard run. And now they have a short yardage, that ground and pound type back. He complements Brees Hall really well. They complement each other really well. And on the second drive, like I was saying, so then after establishing the run, they go to play action. Rucker gets involved. Then you go back to the run, Brees up the middle, really nice spin move, great hole, 10-yard. And then they go back to play action. So run, play action, run, play action. And a lot of third down conversions in this game.
Yeah, it's a great point. Monster third down conversions. There was a few in which you thought the drive was going to stall out. I believe there was one maybe before the end of the half as well, before that ultimately set up the Greg the leg Zerline missed field goal, which was the ultimate blooper of this game, if there was one. But the third down conversions were really key. Rodgers was great in the pocket tonight, just moving about, whether he was dropping back or moving around. He was able to have his way, which I was surprised about a little bit from the Patriots defense. They just were a little bit of a step behind tonight, I think, in many regards. Right away, the physicality from the Jets defense too, I thought set the tone tonight. Just that, this is the home opener, Rodgers' first game here at home, officially first game, as far as he's going to play the whole thing.
I actually think it's unofficially his first game, but sure.
Unofficially, I guess that's the correct time.
He actually had that joke last week in the press conference when a reporter how was your first win with the Jets, with the Jets? And he was like, it's actually my second. I had 4 really important plays,
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. Unofficially.
Yeah. Thank you. That's the right term for sure. But yeah, he just was doing his thing. Give the offense a lot of credit. Give the offensive line a lot of credit. We talked about that a lot during the season preview episode as well, like you had mentioned earlier. If those guys are going to hold up all season long, this offense is going to be able to do a lot of things like we saw tonight. So,
for sure.
And again, I agree. This felt like more closer to like a 30-18 into the 30s, a 34,
Yeah, it did.
36 to 10 type of game, or to 3 rather. It felt a lot worse than what it actually ultimately ended up being.
Oh, yeah, no, I
So
really feel that way, yeah, and as I'm watching this game, I mean, I know we talked a little bit about the third down conversions. I'm thinking to myself at one point, and I think I may have texted this to one of my other Jets fans friends, and it's just a 3rd and 7, a 3rd and 8. Not only the confidence as a fan that, hey, we have a quarterback and offense that can convert this. This is it's 7 yards, 8 yards. That's not a big deal. But the offensive coordinator, Nate Hackett, can actually go to, I don't know, 30 different options in the playbook. With Zach Wilson, he's limited to like 4.
yeah,
Zach Wilson
it's
could make
night
the
and
throws,
day.
but it's not even it's going from a pathetic quarterback to an amazing quarterback. It is night and day. Crazy.
I mean, this is the stuff
Yeah.
you guys have been dreaming about all off season, all year.
2 off seasons ago.
2 off seasons to be specific on
This
it.
is really really though. I don't even like. It's hard to even describe how this feels as a Jets fan. I am so excited. I haven't been
Yeah.
this excited about the Jets in a really really long time. Like I said in that episode the other day, like a couple weeks ago, I was like, since last season. But I mean, after watching them play, this is the way Rodgers looked, the way the offense looked. I really do think that this team is going to be really good. I think the offense is going to get better. They're just going to continue to click. That brings me to one point, and let's hear what you think about it. Other than the Morgan Moses injury, which is concerning,
Yeah.
some undisciplined penalties, roughing penalties, whatever. In a
You're
closer
going to
game,
get
that
those.
matters. In a closer game, I could be more
Right.
upset about it.
Didn't hurt it tonight.
Nitpicking, but something that I'm slightly disappointed in is the Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson connection. And the reason being is because Garrett Wilson, not only is he their number one receiver, he is going to be the Devontae of this team. He's going to be the guy that Aaron Rodgers wants to be on the same page with, and in crucial situations is going to throw him the ball. And there were a couple different situations, a few different throws tonight where they were not on the same page. There was an out route where Garrett Wilson started his break a little bit later than Rodgers thought he was going to. Then there was a ball where Garrett Wilson was running a go route and Rodgers threw a back shoulder throw. And Garrett Wilson just didn't make the same read as him and just kept on going, didn't even realize the ball was coming. I would like to see them clean that up. There was a touchdown throw, which, by the way, that touchdown throw to Garrett Wilson, that throw was incredible.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, I do think that, and I get it, like it's only a few plays, but I do want to see that communication between those two, the chemistry between those two improve. I want to see them in perfect sync because in order for this offense to meet its ceiling, they need Garrett Wilson to be more efficient than 5 catches and 9 targets and get more yards than 33 yards. Garrett Wilson needs to be a 8 catches and 9 targets, 120-yard guy for this team.
Yeah, I think it's one of those deals where he hadn't caught his first touchdown yet of the season. He's playing with the best quarterback, the best player he'll probably ever play with in his entire career at that position. There's nerves, I think, to some degree with that, with being on the same page, with trying to time things just perfectly.
Okay.
I think there's that. We saw this over the years with Brady, with younger receivers on the Pats, and especially when Brady went to Tampa with the Bucks. I mean, these guys want to they want to reach down a little bit further, these receivers, and sometimes that gets you to do. You're trying to do too much at once, and I think that plays into it here a little bit. They got to work on timing. There's no doubt, but maybe not getting too caught up in the, This is the home opener. This is Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm the number one guy on this team at the skill position at receiver. I think there's a little bit of that. I expect that to get ironed out in the coming weeks. But he's just got to be on his spot. He's got to be on his spot and get his timing right, because Rodgers is going to eventually he's going to hit him.
I think so.
And
To me,
yeah,
it's. I think there was a couple. I think there was that one in the fourth quarter where Rodgers missed him over like the middle of the field where he underthrew it. But even the one that out route I was talking about where Garrett Wilson broke a little bit later than Rodgers thought he was going to and threw it a little bit earlier. That's not even the one that made me like consider like, oh, their connection's off. It was really the back shoulder throw where Garrett Wilson didn't even know that he was going to it. Like Rodgers clearly saw something in the defense and that said, we're going back shoulder. And something they clearly have talked about many times. They practiced, they have. And Garrett Wilson didn't recognize it. Now, that doesn't mean that he's not going to next time. It doesn't mean he's not going to in general. But that connection, to me, they need to be on the same page for this team to reach their ceiling. And that it's nitpicky. The Jets just won 24-3. I mean,
yeah, Andrew, you're coming down super hard here, man.
What should I just?
It's fair. It's fair. I mean, look, the ceiling is high for this team.
I'm not upset with Garrett Wilson. I'm not saying he's not. I think he's amazing, and I'm just saying, the connection. I want them to be on the same page. I noticed they weren't.
Yeah, look, we both picked this team to win the division, and we both think that this team can go pretty far in the playoffs. So it's not unreasonable to be thinking this way at all, especially on a night where
you bullied me into picking them to go to the AFC title game.
Yeah, I know. It was my finest work ever of bullying, believe me.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
big
man.
bully.
Yeah.
Big bully Brad.
Preach, everyone knows it. I'm not too concerned about it. I know you're a little bit concerned, especially when you saw the chemistry that Rodgers has with Lazard. He's had with him throughout their entire careers, and they kind of picked up where they left off. So they're cooking.
Point.
Yeah,
that's a good
they're
point,
cooking,
and
then it's going to take a little bit longer, I guess. But I don't think it's going to take that much longer. I think they're going to get this sorted out in the coming weeks.
I agree.
Especially when they head to London in a few weeks on
why especially when they head to London? What are they going to bond on the plane or something? What do you mean?
Well, yeah, it's a long flight. Yeah, long flight, playing some card games, and there's all kind of extra bonding on those long type of trips in general. I think that stuff helps.
I hear you.
Yeah. So I'm not concerned. If we were heading into November and it was still an issue, then there's room to talk more about it. But I'm not concerned week 3 on that front. I think they'll get it sorted out. But also I know he is their number one receiver, obviously going to be the number one target. But at the end of the day, I don't know, Andrew, if it's early. I'll preface it by that, but I don't know if he's going to need to be Devontae Adams for this team.
When I compare it to Devontae Adams, I don't mean he needs to be the best wide receiver in the league.
No, but you're talking about from a production standpoint.
From a production standpoint, he doesn't need to be the best wide receiver in the league. He needs to be
on the team, though.
Rodgers' go-to target.
Yeah.
I do expect him to be a top 5 receiver in the league, by the way. But he doesn't need to be the best.
Yeah, I gotcha. I think, though, I don't know. I disagree with you a little bit at this stage of the game. I don't know if he needs to be the absolute best on this team. They have enough guys, I think, ultimately that they're going to be able to utilize. We'll see as the season goes along. But it's not just a one-man show with him trying to prop up the whole receiver core,
Now, but throughout Rodgers' career, he's usually had that favorite receiver that he targeted a lot, especially in big third down situations, big red zone situations, where the receiver has a combination of the talent and is on the same page as him. And Garrett Wilson is immensely talented, and they, in 2 training camps now, have seemed, by all reports, to have that sort of connection, the way they talk about one another, the way Rodgers talks about Garrett Wilson. And I don't even know, like, I don't even know exactly what the point is anymore because basically all I was trying to say was the connection was off.
Right.
If I have to find something negative, that was it. And
Yeah.
that in order for
It's
their ceiling, I think that their connection needs to be on point. There's a whole season for them to. It doesn't have to happen right away. That's okay. I
totally
do see your point. You're saying so they can win games and be successful with Rodgers spreading the ball around. He could throw
right.
the ball to Lazard, Mike Williams, Conklin, Ruckert, the running backs. Yeah, Xavier Gibson. We haven't even seen the rookie Corley yet, or barely have seen him. So I agree with all of that. But in order for this team to reach their ceiling, to be as good as they possibly can be on offense, that connection is vital. And that's typically true about elite offenses, right? There's a quarterback that has that great connection. Think about it. Mahomes with Kelsey. Peyton Manning had it with Reggie Wayne. He had it with Marvin Harrison. Brady had it with Gronk or Randy Moss. Like this is like Drew Brees had it. Who did Brees have
Jimmy
it with the
Graham
Saints?
for a
Jimmy
while
Graham
there.
for a while. Then there was why am I blanking on the receiver?
Colston.
Yeah, I'm thinking of someone else for some reason. Anyway, the point is that elite offenses have a great quarterback that has that number one target.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I got you. It's they're going to get in sync. It's absolutely going to happen. As you and I are sitting here tonight recording this pod, they will get in sync without question over the coming weeks. But again, the big takeaway for me here is, again, we talked about them being able to spread the ball around, but winning games in different ways. I think you can start to see the pieces come together on that a little bit here early on in
Yeah.
the season that, okay, they can win games when Rodgers is struggling a little bit, being more of a middle of the pack type of quarterback, but he gives you key plays here in games. They get contributions from the rookie and Allen. They get contributions from Hall. They can run it if they need to. They can open it up if they need to. Again, through 3 weeks, it's early, but you're starting to see that come together a little bit.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
team can win a few different ways.
I agree. Let's talk about the Jets defense. Because
Physical.
there's another side of the ball. So a couple
Yes.
things I noticed tonight. One is, yes, the Pats offense is a joke. We know that. I don't feel bad
It's
for
so
Patriots
bad.
fans. I don't feel bad for the Patriots because as a
Of
Jets
course
fan,
not.
I've seen a joke offense for I can't even tell you how long. I don't even want to think about it because we're talking about this year's team, this current team, and this win tonight. So the Pats offense sucks. Jacoby Brissett is a backup quarterback that's starting for the Patriots. We saw
Yep.
their rookie May. He looked fabulous. He looked like what a rookie should look like when he comes in the game in the fourth quarter, week 3.
Yeah. Almost had the first attempt of his career picked off, took some
So
bad sacks. You're right, though.
it's,
This is what you would anticipate from a
it's so
rookie.
fun to see the opposing team's quarterback do this.
Of course. Of
It's
course. And
it's it's not even because if it's just because of what the Jets quarterback play has been for so long, and and in the recent history, the Zach Wilson history, it was beyond any. That May throw was what Zach Wilson would do for 3 straight years
oh, I know.
until he was afraid to throw the ball at all, and then he would just hold on to it.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
I'm almost disappointed that we had a Drake May sighting tonight because
it,
I'm
yeah.
all about um the mentality being fragile for most rookie quarterbacks in this league. I
It's
like
not
when
a good
guys
spot
no,
to come in.
it
No.
hardly ever is. If you were to look at the
Yeah.
history of the league, you're going to find very, very few instances in which it was a good spot and it made
Oh,
sense.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you
Right?
for sure.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So I'm actually, I really don't want to see him as a Pats fan for a while, because I think they just need to ride this out as long as they can with Brissett. We'll see how that actually plays out, but yeah, you saw it tonight. It's still a very bare bones offense, with the exception of the tight ends, who I think are pretty good in Henry and Hooper. They had some good catches tonight,
yeah. No, I
and
agree. I think
Brissett
Hunter
was able
Henry's
to
good.
find them. But again, when your best offensive player, who most would say is probably Stevenson, only has like 20, 25 yards rushing for the entire game, they're only going to score like
And
at
a
most
fumble.
3 points like tonight, or get shut out, which almost
Yeah,
happened. So there's, again, we've heard it a million times. There's only one way for this team to win, and it's run the ball, long sustained, grinded out drives. They didn't do any of that tonight.
yep.
They can't play from behind, and they really don't have. Again, this has been the case now for a couple of years with the Patriots. They don't really have a receiver. It's I would say the receiving core is slightly better than it was last year, but it's still not saying much. They don't really have that guy. Douglas had a couple good catches tonight, but they don't have guys who can win one-on-one battles.
They
That's
don't.
been the
No,
issue for years.
it's been
Yeah,
the
a
issue
couple
for
years
years
now.
because Belichick decided to stop caring about skill positions. But anyway, I do want to before I sidetracked us with the Brissett and May talk. I was going to get into the Jets defense. So
Yes,
7 sacks. Now some of that might be a just really good pass rush. The Jets were actually blitzing a lot tonight. The Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich defenses do not blitz. I
were you
assume
surprised by
that
that?
they blitz tonight.
Yeah, as much as they did.
Yeah, for sure. They don't blitz.
Right.
Their
What was up
staple of
with
their
that?
D. Well, Jermaine Johnson is out
Okay.
with a torn Achilles. They obviously don't have Hassan Reddick. They probably decided that two things. One, without the talent and depth of natural pass rushers, it makes sense to blitz. And we're going against not only a quarterback and an offense that is not very doesn't really pose a threat down the field, but also a scheme that clearly is telling the quarterback, don't force it down the field. Let's dink and dunk. I mean, that's how the Pats have been playing so far
Right.
this season. Keep the game close, rely on the defense, run the ball, dink and dunk, don't throw the ball down the field, don't turn the ball over. So the Jets, with those two things, their injury situation, their situation on the D line, specifically at the edge, combined with the Pats just not posing a threat down the field, the Jets probably decided let's blitz. It worked. 7 sacks, and that's also a combination of. I always say this: sacks are not a defensive stat. They're not an offensive line stat. They're a quarterback stat. A quarterback typically gets sacked 7 times, or in this case, two quarterbacks, but because they're not reading the defense, they're not reading the blitz pre-snap, they're holding on to the ball way too long. That said, it doesn't mean a defense doesn't. I mean, they deserve some credit for getting sacks. It's a quarterback stat more than anything, but there's a defensive impact. Obviously, blitz packages were good. Willie Mack, Will McDonald looked really good. Second straight game.
Yeah, he did.
Quinnen Williams was all over the field. He was incredible. So was his brother Quincy Williams, the linebacker. He was all over. Chuck Clark had a great game. Had that awesome strip where he just ripped it away from Ramondre.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was really
And
impressive. Again,
I
super
didn't.
physical tonight.
Yeah, I didn't notice Sauce Gardner at all, which means they probably didn't really throw to him. Like maybe
No.
like one time.
Right. That was about it. They wanted nothing to do with that sauce.
I don't see. Yeah, and if he's not being targeted, you don't really see him because he doesn't tackle. So
Right.
he's not a tackler.
Yeah.
DJ Reed, the other corner, is a big time tackler. He made a couple stops, including a nice tackle for a loss on Ramondre Stevenson. But yeah, the Jets defense looked good.
It
But
did.
the Pats offense looked horrible. So I mean, which one is it?
Somewhat
Both?
somewhat balances itself out. It's a little bit of both. Yeah. Again, though, like you're regardless of who you're playing, like if you're going to come out and set a tone at home and be, really commit to shutting down the run, which they did tonight, which is has been the only thing the Patriots do really well on offense. Um, they were able to do that. The Patriots never got going. Even a couple of the runs that early on that Stevenson did break,
Yeah.
they got called back by penalties and a bunch of issues there. But yeah, interesting take on the sacks. Obviously it's a defensive stat, but yeah, I hear you. A lot of times, more of the tail of the tape there is about the quarterback and
If
their
you just
issues.
study, like review the history of the NFL, and if you look at quarterbacks who got sacked a lot, like per game, obviously the best quarterbacks got sacked more total because they played more games.
Yeah,
But like sacks per game, all the top quarterbacks are nowhere near the top of that list. They're all like very low in terms of sacks per game. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, like these guys aren't even like fast guys. I'm not like obviously someone like Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson. It makes sense that they're not getting sacked a lot.
right.
Those guys actually get sacked a little bit more. But if you look at all the top quarterbacks, Rodgers, Manning, Brady, they don't get sacked that often because they they make their reads pre-snap. They get rid of the ball quickly. They understand the coverage, so they understand who's going to be open, when they're going to be open. They're just reading the defense, and they're getting rid of the ball. I mean, you know this. You saw Brady do it. I mean, Brady was probably the best ever at it.
Yeah. Yeah, the ability to just again the quick release, get the ball fast, like you said, just not, not succumbing to that as much, and it's spot on. You don't see some of the all-time really good quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are just above average for long sustained careers in general. You don't see it as much with them
It's the
either.
rookies, the guys
Yep.
who are clearly flustered. They're not reading the coverage before the coverage. They're not reading the blitz pre-snap, and then once the play's unfolding, they're not going through the progressions in a timely manner. They're just all flustered. And even guys, even quarterbacks who aren't mobile, Brady,
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, they have the awareness of where the pressure's coming from around them to step up, slide to the right, slide to the left, like in the pocket. I think of Brady and Peyton Manning as two of the best I've ever seen at that. Clearly not mobile guys, not fast runners,
Right.
but just really, really aware of what's going on around them.
Yeah, they were both great at it, both textbook definitions of how you want to do it as a quarterback. And it's interesting because in both of their heydays, I think you could more so, you could say they were somewhat of trailblazers in that sense of just at the time, highly athletic quarterbacks based on what we had seen in the history of the league prior to them coming in, with them being able to avoid, like you said,
Yeah.
disastrous sack situations, things of that
Yeah.
nature. Now, here in 2024, I think it's almost a prerequisite that if you're going to be a quarterback here in the long term, like it's mandatory. You especially like pre-snap, being able to read defenses. If you're going to take a lot of sacks, you're going to get benched in this league, like
Yeah, I think
sooner versus later now.
it's interesting that you say that because I think what's happened, I know we're getting off topic here, but the Jets Pats recap. But I think a lot of teams, because of Patrick Mahomes, have decided like let's scout the guy that has that kind of ability to go off platform and make the plays, and that's why guys like Zach Wilson get drafted number 2 because they have the arm talent and the legs and all the physical ability to go off platform and make crazy plays, all the ridiculous sidearm, all the stuff that Mahomes does, which is not normal. You shouldn't try to replicate that.
No.
But yeah, so anyway, so sacks are more of a quarterback stat, but 7 sacks for the Jets.
Impressive.
Credit to the
Regardless of who they were
defense.
playing tonight.
Regardless of who they were playing, the defense dominated. The D-line dominated. The secondary was great. There's just not a negative thing to say about the defense tonight. And hopefully they get CJ Mosley back next week.
Yeah, that's key, right? And they kind of have like the mini bye now, if you will, with the 10 days.
That's a good point.
So that's helpful, And We
They played
mentioned
3 games in 11 days to start the season.
yeah, it's not
For a
easy.
40-year-old quarterback off a torn Achilles too.
Yeah, that's a great point too. I mean, not easy to play that amount of games in that amount of time to start the year. Um, now they get a little bit of a reprieve. One last note on the defense, just thinking about Sauce Gardner,
Yeah.
not wanting to tackle. Is he basically like Asante Samuel 2.0?
He's I would say coverage wise, like PFF grades, he's better than that. But in terms
Right,
of like he doesn't tackle. No,
right.
he like
It's not
a lot of
talked about a
times.
lot, but
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
it's. You're right though.
When you have a shutdown corner, right? Tackling is the least important thing. Because if the
Yeah,
goal is to not let the guy you're covering have the ball, then you don't need a tackle. Obviously, yeah, you would love a guy to be able to come in and make a tackle on a running play, or come off his guy and tackle a receiver. Obviously, and there have been plays the last couple of years where, like down the field, the players, plays developing. It's a big play, and like Sauce is just kind of like shying away from making the tackle. He's not a
yeah.
tackler.
Right. It's not
He's
his
an
thing.
amazing shutdown shutdown cover corner. Probably the best in the league. I think he is. But
Yeah.
he
No.
doesn't. He doesn't tackle. That's yeah. DJ Reed tackles though.
Any issues with the refs tonight? I thought it was one of those games where like they really didn't get in the way of that much at all tonight.
I'm trying to think of some of the calls. So there was the PI call and DJ Reed, good call,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
There was a couple holdings, illegal motions. I thought they were all fine calls. There's nothing that stood out to me. What else? What else?
The touchdown, the initial saying that Bryce Hall was stopped short of the goal line, and then they reviewed it and they said he actually broke the plane. They got that one right
Oh well,
ultimately.
that's that's why we have a review.
Well, no
Because the
guarantee
idea,
though. No
the
guarantee.
yeah, you're right. Should yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. There's no guarantee. Sometimes a review is not it's not conclusive, right? So it's like, oh, whatever the play on the
Right.
calls, the
We
play on the
don't
call
know,
stand,
so
the field,
it'll
play
stand.
call on
Yeah.
the field stands. Yeah,
Right.
uh,
Right.
yeah, but that was a really acrobatic touchdown, by the way. I don't even know how do you describe that? He was like spinning and rolling, and I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, that was impressive. But yeah, they didn't
It
really
was
talk about that as much.
some
It
acrobatic.
was.
I don't know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's talented. What can you say? Not easy down there at the goal line to be able to maneuver your way close. Um but yeah, he's almost a lock to score a touchdown a game at this
Yes.
point.
Oh yeah, I agree. Great for fantasy owners. On the Jets' seventh drive, I believe this was third quarter, maybe early. I think it was third quarter, maybe early fourth, but I think it was third quarter. They had, I think it was after the it was right. It was after the Chuck Clark fumble or strip of Ramondre.
Yeah.
Rodgers had Mike Williams in the end zone, single coverage. And they were talking about it on the broadcast. How it seems like Mike Williams timed his jump. He jumped a little bit too early. He was coming down. By the
Yeah.
time, I thought that was another perfect throw. I
Oh
thought Mike
yeah.
Williams was going to make that play.
Yeah, same. I mean, obviously, again, someone else coming off of an injury. We talked about him extensively on the season preview here as well. Um, Here's another guy who can be a big time part of what they're doing here on offense if he can stay healthy. Yeah, he just got to work on his timing there. Right, Rogers put it on the spot. He didn't time it right to get up there to grab it.
What was his snap count today? I want to see because it's been going up. It was like in the 20% mid, like 20% tile, and then it was in the 60s in week 2. I want to see the snap count for can for Mike Williams today. I'm gonna look that up, and I'll try to find it, and I'll come back because I don't know.
You want to see 70%?
What do you? Where do you go? I would think it's 75%. I thought it was around
Yeah,
75.
probably. That seems about right.
I don't even know where to go for to find that.
How about
Because
the
usually I would just wait to see
classic?
it on Twitter the next day.
This is true.
But
Yeah. All right. Well,
anyway,
yeah. Usually, sometimes what I'll do is I'll look at Twitter for the stat and information type of accounts from the games
I
because there's
have
always someone
a
logging that.
so most of the advanced metrics. Like I brought up CPOE on an earlier episode. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of those advanced metrics you need like a paid account for. So I have a source,
I bet you do.
as Mike Francesa would say, a source.
Love it. Um,
Uh, so
yeah.
usually I get those like the day or a day or two after. But
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna
uh,
guess it was definitely between 70 and 75%.
it seemed like he was on the field a lot.
Yeah, which is great. You want to see that. Um,
Yeah,
this is a guy. I mean, he is a. Is it fair to say he's? I don't want to say he's top 10, but top 15 receiver in this league when he's healthy.
I don't even know anymore because it's been a while.
It's been a
I
while. I
don't
know.
I don't look at him as like a like a burn like I don't know. I just think at this point you throw the ball up to him, he's a 50-50 guy. He goes up and gets it. I think the types of routes he can run at this point are probably a little bit limited. But
Right.
maybe he'll prove me wrong.
He's kind of like a possession receiver, I guess, in many ways. Like he's not going to burn you, right?
Well,
He's not that
but
type
that
of
was
guy.
his thing for
But
his career that's
I
what he
know,
was.
but I think he
I
could
don't know
still
if he
be
is
that.
anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think he could still be that if he stays healthy. We'll have to see.
I do think but yeah, no, I think the more comfortable he gets in the offense, the more times he's on the field. And I look, we know Rodgers is good with Lazard. Lazard was horrible last year. He wasn't an NFL quality receiver. Rodgers comes back, all of a sudden Lazard's good.
It's
It's
amazing
not
how
a
that works.
coincidence. It's not
Right.
a coincidence. And we know Garrett Wilson is really good, and we know the two running backs. Conklin's a very good receiving tight end. I don't know if he should be blocking edge rushers with Mike Williams chipping. That was
Yeah.
that play.
Yeah,
Brees
that
got
was pretty funny.
blown up on like a 7-yard loss on a toss play because they decided to have Conklin on a who was the edge rusher? Thornton. I'm thinking it was Thornton. I don't know. Anyway,
I think it
and then they
was,
had
yeah.
Mike Williams chipping, which is like, are you serious?
Yeah, he should never be doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's no need to have
Maybe
this is
that
not gonna
maybe
work.
that maybe the idea on that play was Rodgers to throw like a really quick throw,
Maybe.
and maybe whatever the play was designed for just didn't happen. Maybe the receiver ran the wrong route, or I don't know. Uh,
Yeah. We'll never
or
know
maybe
unless we're in the film tomorrow morning. We don't know.
so Jets win 24-3. They blow out the Patriots. Incredible.
It definitely was a blowout. Two teams going in opposite directions.
I hope so. All right, last time.
So
I'm
that's the
done.
fan group of Jets fans that are already in London. They're that excited. They're already there waiting for the game to start against the Sam
Vikings.
Darnold led Minnesota Vikings.
That's
Exactly.
gonna be fun. Watch just won 24-3. They're 2-1. Things are looking good.
Yeah, I mean, again, tonight is the night to be excited as a Jets fan. It's definitely the night to be thinking about where this team could go this year. Ultimately,
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
I know.
I'm a big enjoy the journey guy. You know that.
Yeah,
I'm happy they're 2-1. I'm excited about the win. Great to see them not only beat the Patriots, but to blow out the Patriots. Great to see the Patriots suck. And great to see Rodgers look great. Great to see the offense click. Great to see the defense dominate. Everyone looked great. And I'm not even thinking about Super Bowl or any of that stuff. Just happen to be 2-1 and have a team that I am confident and a quarterback that I actually am excited to see play. And every drive, every offensive series, I'm excited. They can score a touchdown on any offensive series. They can convert almost any third down within reason. And they have a quarterback that will not turn the ball over. And they have an offense around them that is full of skill. I'm excited.
Has there ever been a quarterback more in love with the back shoulder?
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was slinging that thing like crazy tonight.
It's such a good play, though. It's so
It
hard to
really
stop.
is. I know.
As long as you
I
have
know.
that chemistry with the receiver, that's the key.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. And again, impressive tonight. I really thought that Christian Gonzalez, the young corner for the Pats, was gonna. He did well at points to slow down
Yeah,
Wilson.
he did well.
He did well. He did get burnt on the I guess it was the touchdown at the goal line.
He went for the pick.
Yeah, he went for the pick and he missed
Rogers
it.
saw him. Right, that was such a great throw.
It really was. It was great from Rogers on that one. But yeah, they again, give him credit. This was the Pats are bad. They're not going to be. They're only going to win a handful of games this year. But I think this was more about Aaron Rodgers tonight and the Jets offense, and just as a whole team. This was definitely the definition of a team win tonight. Everyone really contributed. Special teams really didn't play any role in tonight's game at all. But outside of that, I mean, it was a full team win. It was more about that than the Patriots really just sucking tonight.
That'll be a
theme.
It's about both, and that's great. Patriots suck, Jets are good. I love it. Let's keep the combination going. Anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you next time. But thanks for listening and watching to our bonus episode, Jets Pats Recap.